Okay, today I'm just going to do a quick demo of something I'm working on. I'm trying to develop a way in the engine to use the tile system or the mesh system in order to make buildings and objects in the background. So what I've done to test this out is I've made a tile that is documents and BAKIN terrains. So I've made this terrain here, which has two. So the standard is the top, the bottom, and the middle. But what I've done is I've added an extra middle because I've discovered that in the tiling method in the engine, over here, resources, terrains, and then I have my terrains selected, that if you want to, where are we here? Round the corners off, map generation, repeating method. If you want to repeat the middle section of a terrain, then you need to have an extra one in the middle so that it can repeat that. And then it still has some issues scaling and stuff. It's not too bad though. That'll just be a trial and error with your textures for these types of objects. So anyway, what I've done is I've assigned this. So it's got the top of a shingle, and I've generated the bump map for this as well so that it's got some texture to it. The side is vinyl siding. The next side down is vinyl siding, and then at the bottom it's a bunch of rock work cladding to go around the outside. So, and then what I've done here, as you can see, it looks like I've put a model down, but that's not the case at all. What I've done is I've selected this, and then I'll do a fresh one over here. I've gone and done painted out my side, right? Then I choose my selection brush. And now the trick is to know how high to go. So, and you need to work with your terrain textures in order to make that right. Now in my terrain kit 2, I'll have a bunch of these done. What I plan to do is have a couple of different colors of vinyl, a few different all rock, a few different like cedar shingles on the roof instead. I might even try and do some Asian style, but I'm going to try and get some of these so that there can be multiple textures depending on what you're doing, or multiple terrains. But now I just bump this up, and you see we're in the middle still, right? I just went up another one, and it converted it. There was enough to convert that bottom tile. So now that bottom tile, medium tile, top tile, right? And if I keep going up though, it's going to keep being the vinyl. And you have to go up a few more clicks, because what happens is if you don't and you shoot this angle on, it cuts the height down enough that it must be counting by the outside edge, because what happens is once it gets where it's impeding on this middle tile, it'll then take away your brickwork at the bottom. But also it just happens to be a bit short for an actual building height at that point. So, but you can make these whatever height you want. See, I've just started into the next tile divider there, so we'll just go to there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this middle, and I'm going to give it a slope, and we're going to choose this angle of a slope, and instead of going 4, I'm going to go 3 units. And that should give me a nice steep roof that way. And then I'll do the same here. This one over here I did with 2 units, I believe. Maybe I did 3 on that one. You can play around with that and see how it works for you. There's nothing in stone. Basically, the more steps, it means you've got 4 increments for each full terrain height. So 4 steps is a full terrain height, 2 is a partial, 3 is a partial. It basically just changes the steepness for you. You hit OK there, and now you can see now there's a different differentiator here, so ideally you would do something different. I made this solid edge at the bottom on purpose on this so that I could check how the texture unit's going to be, but you can see it offset a little bit. I would probably try to make that seamless so that it doesn't jump down any lower. I'm not, I think I did a 4 on that. I'm going to go edit, undo, edit, undo, and I'm just going to do these both as a I'm going to do these both as a 4 to see how that looks. A 4 this way, okay, and then I'll do this one as a 4 as well, because I think I did one as a 3 and one as a 4, and that definitely staggered me out. There we go. Now we're even on that front, and I'm just going to click on the ground here, and I'm going to rotate it, move it out a bit, and I'm going to rotate it just to show you. So now, you know, no doors, no windows, but I'm going to hop into game now and show you why that works out well. So here's my character running around. Now I've left jump on just so I can jump up here and show you the size. So you can see that this is indeed, you know, pretty much a house size, and this is like a small cabin size. So now again, you can adjust the textures here so that you had vinyl on the bottom half or on the top half of the bottom piece. You can do whatever you want, right? It's your terrains, your texture files. You can mess around with those. But here's the thing. So you build out here what you're going to be interacting with, what your player's going to be interacting with, and you know, the storyline, the events, the stores, the things that you deal with. You have this as an edge or an area. Maybe that's a brick wall or something, and then the player can't actually get up and interact with these. But what you've done now is you can put a whole bunch of buildings up there made out of these tiles and or terrains, which are really low geometry resources, a little bit because these slopes are turned into 3D objects sitting on top rather than just the terrain mapping. But the terrain mapping is handled extremely well by the resources. Like, the engine really is made efficient to handle how the terrains are drawn. So you can get away with doing 3, 4, 5, 10, who knows, times more from the terrain than you can by dropping models on board. So if you need to fill up the back, if the guy's way over here, right, and you're interacting with stuff a long ways away, I mean, that could even be another layer backing up, you've got, all of a sudden, you've got those in the distance, they look good, you've got your buildings. Of course, you can also make multiple textures for these. So you could have the middle one with a texture with a window in it. Or maybe the side one with or with a door, and then you just use that for one block. And because you're working with individual terrain blocks, you have the ability to do quite a bit. Like, I can go here, let me just rotate this over. So I can go here, and I could just bring that terrain block up. And let's say that's, I don't know, a door or something. Or actually, in this case, what a guy could do is you could use a texture. In fact, I'll do a video on this where I test it out, where I make like a stump. Like, that could be a tree. Like, we could make a big tree out of that one, and then we could make another big tree here in the front. And you know, say you're making a sakura forest, which I actually plan to do. And now you got these rounded corners. Well, that one's probably not ideal, but I just want to do 4, not 6. There we go, and then this one, bring it down to. There you go, but you get the idea. So now if you terrain textured that, it's not quite as round as these individual pillars are, but you know, you throw a texture on there of a giant redwood tree in here too, and so you bring these up a little higher. if I can actually select them all. There we go. And we can bring that right up there. Same here. Bring that right up. Same here. Bring that right up. Well, now the top, you just make them look like rounded stump or like browned out or blacked out or whatever. You just texture it because those are above your player. So when your player is walking around in game, I'll do that again real quick here. So your player's walking around in game here. Even if he pans up, he's not really going to see. He's got to really pan up to look above those. In fact, I can't camera angle above those right from this perspective. So, you know, you can have a pretty big forest and the guys, let me just get up there if I can, and the guy's walking around these giant trees, right? You know, so there's all sorts of things you can do in conjunction with models. You could use models of smaller trees and stuff scattered around, and you have your bark textures and stuff rolling. You could do some pretty impressive stuff, icebergs or whatever you want. But back to the building blocks here. So let me just flatten these out, and here we'll flatten that out too. So what I could do is I could go like this. So outside wall, outside wall, outside wall, outside wall, outside wall, and then over here, outside wall, over here, outside wall. But then say this red one per se is a door, and let's say this green one is or blue one is a window, or just a different section with it. I'm just going to visualize, and then in the center we just do this one again, bang. And now what we do is we hit our select. And then we bring these up, right? And now we just grab our slopes really quickly here, just to get the point across. And we're just gonna go with we'll go with a 2, sure. Don't need to do anything fancy here. I just wanna. Doesn't even have to be accurate for this because I'm just showing you so you get the idea of what I'm talking about. These two as well. Sorry. I must have messed something up there. I don't know what I did. Oh, I went the wrong way. Okay, well that's fine. Here, let's just fix that. Delete. Okay. Go here. Bring that up. Okay. Bring that across. Now we add the slope. I want to go with this one. There we go. Okay. Click over here somewhere. Alright. So now you can see. Oh, I got to. Sorry. My example for redwood forest or whatever there. Okay. So you can see here. You'd have the same texture, but then you'd have your door. Over here, same texture, but you'd have your window. So you can see that there's a lot of potential to come up with some really good stuff using your terrain technology in this engine. But that's where I want to leave this one for you. I just wanted to make sure to let you know the potential and show you what I'm working on for my next terrain pack release. I'm probably just going to do 2 of these packs right now. I might do a 3rd one, but then I want to get on to doing a character pack and release some character models for people so that they've got like an NPC pack and a hero pack or something. I want to come up with something so people can actually have characters that sort of match this terrain like the one that I used to run around in here with, because then you can kind of get all the assets you need right away to get started and start building out your game. All right, have a great night. See you in the next one.